morning. We're just kind of getting started this morning. I hope everything is going well for you this morning. And just getting ready to do some, live warm-up stuff. And, oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and just double tap the screen if you're here. If you're just getting started, certainly appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason here, your host. This is your A440 tuning fork, your reference pitch. And today we are mourning the passing of Ozzy Osbourne this morning. So there's that. If you stick around to the end, we're going to be talking about a couple of things that need to be, just covered. I was thinking about what a beautiful presence he has had in metal, heavy rock, hard rock, metal music. Just an impact, huge impact. And we'll go ahead and just talk a little bit about some of the simple things and how he framed melody and how sometimes his melody would work as counterpoint to the chord progressions of the moment. So we'll definitely spend a little bit of time talking about the life and times of the legend or a legend. I had a friend yesterday. He started texting me yesterday afternoon, and he's like, "Dude, your whole live tomorrow morning needs to be about Ozzy." And I thought, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And we'll talk a little bit about the first time as we start going through this session this morning. This will all, of course, it will all unfold. We'll reminisce together about the first time we heard a peer play Crazy Train, and we'll just cover some ground this morning. So if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and get started right away, and we'll just kind of actually, you know what? Let's have a moment of silence. Let's start with our intention with a moment of silence for Mr. Osbourne. If you don't mind joining me, we'll have a moment of silence for Ozzy. All right, so there's that done. Yeah, I don't know if, I don't know, it's just, well, even the wizards die. We all die, even the wizards, I remember let's go ahead and get started first of all, and then we'll get moving on the reminiscing a little bit. But if you don't have your guitar, go ahead and grab your guitar. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and just doing a morning ritual for guitar growth. This is specifically designed to be like we're going to church every Sunday morning. It's designed to be the same. We're creating familiarity similar to like the Catholic Mass. We know what to expect, and if we look ahead of the game, we can actually know what the homily is about, what the gospel is what's covered this week, and that. But it's the same formal structure every day. We do add some new things here and there, so that we can keep all of the things that we need warm in rotation. So once again, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason, your host, and you're going to love what's happening here today. We're talking Ozzy all morning. So come on in, stick around, grab your guitar, and join in and warm up with me. One E ended two. Oh, and a 4, and here we go. And we're starting with fingers 3 and 4. And I'll tell you what, let's start at the beginning. Let's begin at the beginning of my beginning. Let's start at the beginning of my beginning with Ozzy. So we had a record player. A lot of you had the Technics, you know, the amp. And if you were local to this area, Technics had a really beautiful, it's like a wood grain, sort of looked like a wood grain finish, the amp. And the dial was a weighted dial, the weighted volume, the weighted tuning knob, the weighted, just a beautiful piece of equipment. And it looked, the wood grain was sort of like a vinyl on chipboard, but it's a wildly popular amp, a receiver amp. And so we had one of those. You had a Technics table, and I have both of those now in my possession. And I don't have Paranoid, but I remember Paranoid was the first time when I heard Iron Man for the first time as like a 10-year-old, maybe an 8 or 10-year-old, or maybe earlier. I think the first time I heard Paranoid, it was somewhat of a revelation. You know, of course, I love the string bends for Iron Man, but hearing like, I don't know, War Pigs or whatever, just letting that vinyl go. The sound was good, it was rich, and the speakers were very nice. They were really good speakers. And I remember the first time trying to play that power chord, and then there was just that simple sort of, it's so simple. But the very first time, remember the first time you played it, you actually understood what a power chord was capable of. A power chord was capable of so much more. I mean, it wasn't just a name anymore. You knew that you could literally wield the full weight of tonalities and shift them around like a wizard on your guitar just by moving your arm around, and you realize this is something serious, and then down the road you hear Rage, you hear the and then you start absorbing Zeppelin, and you start absorbing the Who, you start absorbing the audio, you start absorbing Soundgarden, you start absorbing everyone else that came after, used those power chords and wielded those power chords. And I just remember that was my experience. So we'll start with fingers 1 and 2 on 10 and 12. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a faux E and if you're here, welcome. I'm Jason, and I'll be your guide, your sort of host guide. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and today we're wearing black for the observance of Ozzy Osbourne's passing yesterday. If you stick around, grab your guitar, you're gonna love what's coming up. We're going to do a little bit, we're gonna spend some time telling stories. I'm going to share a couple of personal stories and anecdotes about, playing in the band, and then, playing, Bark at the Moon or whatever, and covering some of, various seasons of Ozzy's life, covering some of that repertoire, and maybe if you have some comments or something that you'd like to share, you can always comment in the comments. Share your things in the comments of this video. Fingers 2 and 4 on 9 and 12. 1 E and a 2. You know what to do. I just passing of the body is a big deal, and it's a big deal for the family left behind. So you know, we want to definitely send our condolences along to the family, Sharon, and those people who are left behind. But you know, anyway, let's go ahead and start with the celebration of what it meant to play Iron Man for the first time. You know, it's a give me song. It's sort of we've come to recognize it as sort of the song that you don't play anymore because it's so overplayed as a beginner. It's almost like that other song that's void from music stores, you know. But the power chord, you know, there are really great, gifted, and you know, talented guitarists all over the planet who, you know, build a career. They build careers on practicing intervals and practicing, you know, fifths, for example, or fourths, for example, to get their sound. And before all of that sort of angular and sort of adventurous approach to guitar and melody, there was a solid rock foundation, a core foundation. I remember putting the Paranoid album on, or having the album put on for me, and just listening to what was going on, and the riffs were important. You know, Chuck Berry's riffs are important. We have the riff part of what's going on with the electric guitar or the Delta blues guitar. The riff is important because it's a quick idea. You know, classical music can take the time, fingers 1 and 4 on 7 and 12, here we go. Classical music can take the time to unfold an idea, you know, and we've been talking about Wagner for, you know, off and on for a week now. And it could be a 3-hour experience for the thing to unfold, for the idea to fully mature and evolve and capitulate and recapitulate and link from one to the next. But the riff has got to be a really good idea, a good musical idea, but it's typically short and designed to be delivered in a package for popular consumption in the popular market, right? So the riff, the way I became familiar with riffs was it was just these little ideas that go by in a flash, and if you blink your eyes, you've missed it. And I remember the guitar riff is super important to people like, to players like us, because we might make a living doing those riffs for 3-4 hours a night, 2-3 hours a night, you know, 4, 5, 6 days a week, depending on how hungry you are for the fame and fortune. Let me just take a little sip of this Joe here. There it is. Yeah, so here we go. Continuing along, we're looking at 3 fingers, 2, 3, and 4 on 10, 11, and 12, and go, 2, 3, go. And we have a metronome. So I do use this guitar every day. I do use it pretty much every, it's the workhorse, it's the sort of the beater, the banger, the beater guitar. Takes the day-to-day punishment very well. It's the Martin D. It's a Dreadnought X2E, and it's available through the link of the video. If you can't live without it, you can go ahead and purchase one, and it would help our channel sort of provide content, continue to provide the content that you might like here. And so purchasing a link, an instrument from a link here, an associated link, definitely will help the channel. But if it's something, only if it works for you, you know, if it's something that you think you might like. You've seen me using this guitar for, you know, about a year now, maybe over a year, and it's just turning out really, it's great. It's just so great. And I do feature a metronome in this video as well, and I offer it up for sale as a benefit. If you need a metronome, there's a link to get your metronome right here in this video. And a tuning fork, an A440 tuning fork, is also available in this video. And as you know, I don't use mechanical or electronic tuners in the morning, so 1E and 2 fingers, 1, 2, and 3 on 10, 11, 12. We're just warming up, getting through. We're lugging the gear. We are shouldering the gear into bass camp is what we're doing. And it might be a 17-mile trek to get there, and only to turn it. So once we arrive, we put the gear down, we stock the place up, and then we turn around and go back and grab some more gear. Because part of this trip, you know, it's a long trip. We're staging our expedition. We're staging our travel. So right now I'm at the staging point right here where I'm just literally bringing gear into base camp. And it's all it is one foot after the next. And I have a balanced load on my back. I've got this, you know, and I have some Sherpas helping out, maybe assisting. But the main piece, the main idea for this warm-up session for me is to have it be consistent, have it be expected, have it be familiar, and work all of these areas that need working before I shift my mindset into that of a guitar practitioner, the practicing mindset, the practical application mindset. So this is separate. The warm-up is separate from the practical application. This is literally all we're doing. It's super if you're a guitar practitioner and you're accomplished, or you're just beginning, you're wondering about the guitar. It's super approachable for anyone at any level, and it makes sense for anyone at any level. I say there's a little something for everyone, but at the same time, this is definitely not for everyone. It's if you're not a guitar player, if you haven't yet developed your appreciation for warming up, then it might not be for you. But if it is, grab your guitar and come on, and we're going to talk Ozzy all morning. So 1, 2, and 4 on 9, 10, and 12. And so I'm going to fast forward from listening to here I am in the warm and fuzzy of my own childhood home, enjoying, you know, what was to be a legend. Who knew later in my life I would be watching him, not that much later either, I would be watching Ozzy perform on MTV with in a number of capacities, you know, in his own right. And again, with like these really, really great partnerships. Remember that beast of a guitar solo by Lita Ford in, what is the name of the song? I keep thinking Mama, I'm Coming Home, but it wasn't that, it was... Close My Eyes Forever. What a great guitar solo. If you haven't, I'm sure you've seen the video, but if you haven't yet seen the video, Close My Eyes Forever, the Lita Ford video, I'm sure you've seen it, like I said, but if you haven't yet seen it, do yourself a huge favor and go watch it. Fingers 1 and 3 and 4 and 9 and 11 and 12. 1, 2, tickum-ba, tickum-ba-ba. And we want to talk a little bit about his like rich, sort of creamy vocal and how his vocal came to be mixed later on in his career with the light chorusing and the spatial sort of impacts with spatial delay, you know, the brief delays that help to create a stereo field for his voice. And, just a beautifully set in the mixes. His vocal tone always seemed to be like just large. Oh, you know what? If you could equate it with, you could make a sort of like find an equivalent in the world of guitar, right? For, let's say, guitar tone. To me, Ozzy's vocal tone always felt larger than life, similar to the way Mr. David Gilmour's guitar tone feels larger than life. Do you know what I mean? The guitar tone is just so huge and in the mix, and you know, of course we all chase that sort of thing. We all chase after wanting to make the guitar sound the biggest in the mix and make it shine. And Ozzy's voice was that sort of for me in a vocalist, right? So they're sort of apples and oranges, I know, but they were both very large. They had large presence in the mix. Yeah. All right, so what are we doing? Let's go ahead and do a stretch. We'll do a stretch here. I'm about 8 minutes over on my stretch schedule. So here's the first one. I've done some yoga, so I'm already pretty well stretched into the situation this morning. But every 15 minutes, I like to get a stretch in. So I know you like to do this too, because you like to take care of yourself and your systems that play the guitar. All right. So welcome this morning. Thank you for being here. I'm very thankful that you're being here. If you're here, double tap the screen. If you're on your mobile viewport, double tap the screen and give us a like. And stick around. Maybe grab your guitar. Go grab your guitar if you have some time to sit down. Grab your guitar and come back and play along with us. Or not. You know, I think the name of the game is to just be here. If you're intended to be here, you'll be here. And if you're not, if you're intended just to pop in and out, that's what it's all about. You go do your thing. But if you're here, I'm here. I'm Jason. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And for the entirety of 2025, the whole idea is so that I might be here and practice the guitar, not for vanity's sake, not for the sake of it, but for the sake of humanity, right? In a decade, we'll look back on this period of 2025 when Jason Carey played guitar, just sat around and warmed up like a absolute moron for a year, and everybody was wondering why he was doing it. You know, why is he doing this? Why am I taking 260 hours? You know what 260 hours translates to me for finance? Multiply 260 times 100, and that's what my value is. It's more than that, but it's, you know, everybody says your time is free. Well, surprise, newsflash, your time is not free. Your time is irreplaceable. And I put a high dollar value on my time, my personal time. So I'm going to say 260, you know, and 100, that's, I don't know, what is that? Like 26,000. It's probably not enough money, right? So 1 E and a 2 E and a T, fingers 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're 4 attacks per beat, 60 beats per minute. If you're here, go ahead and double tap the screen. Give us some love. You can show some love. It's okay to show some love on the screen. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about Ozzy today. And what did Ozzy do for you? You know, what did his presence here on Earth do for you? How could you calculate the impact he made on the music industry? Just specifically the music industry. What kind of trade did he encourage? What kind of expenditures and expenses or finance did his presence on Earth spawn? How many players do you think he influenced? You know, you could be a guitar player and still be heavily influenced by Ozzy because he always surrounded himself with wonderful musicians. You know, you could rattle off a list of the top guitar players on the planet, and they've all played with, you know, likely played with Ozzy. You know, for the most part, right? For most of it. And just beautiful, beautiful recordings. And so anyway, let's fast forward a little bit to a high school where we're in the battle of the bands. You know, we were in middle school band playing like The Spirit of Radio and that kind of stuff by Rush. And that was middle school for us because we had a pretty, we were all taking music lessons and private music lessons, and we were practicing like banshees. And so we were able to play those things early on and had fun doing it. We didn't realize, you know, maybe it wasn't normal to be able to do that kind of thing at that age. But we sure did have some fun doing it. And then we get to, let's fast forward to high school, battle of the bands, and then we were playing like Pantera, Deicide, we were playing the, you know, Type O Negative, we were playing Cannibal Corpse, Fear Factory. Oh my gosh, Fear Factory. Whew. Some really heavy stuff. And then we were playing also some Ozzy stuff. There was, you know, the gimme was crazy. That's how it goes. All right, so we were playing that stuff early on, and then Bark at the Moon was a really great experience. Let's go ahead and do fingers 1, 2, 3, and stretch 4, and we'll continue our warm-up efforts. So 1 E, 1 E and a 2 E and a digga digga ba, 1 E and a 2 E and a here we go E and a 9, 10, 11, and 13. Just starting on the downstroke. You could just switch it up and start with upstrokes on your picking hand just to be sure, just to reinforce to yourself and for no other reason that you can have the upstroke be master of its own domain. Not sure if you're a Seinfeld fan or not, but there it is. So, up, up, up. Upstroke leads the pack. And that's okay because we'll need to know that we can trust the upstroke in the future of our guitar endeavors. You know, if we don't trust that we can conquer with an upstroke, we probably should work a little bit on the upstroke. Yeah, if you're here, double tap the screen if you don't mind. Just give us a little bit of a boost here. That's good. Up, 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 or down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, up, or up. We want the ups. I'm going out of my way to create an upstroke that sounds balanced with that of the dynamic level of an upstroke is balanced with the downstroke. I'm going out of my way to be sure this is going to be a balanced approach. 1 E and a 2. Thank you for clicking like. Thank you for liking this video, double tapping the screen. I really appreciate that. 1 and a 2 E and a stretch that first finger back. In other words, the kickstand. 8, 10, 11, 12. So you could stick around, because if you like to talk about Ozzy a little bit more today, you can stick around. We're going to be talking about Mama, I'm Coming Home, and the chord progression against what he sings as melody. So we're going to talk about the beauty of it. Don Henley does this a lot in his sort of like solo songwriting, and where the chords shift around and the melody sort of basically goes back and forth between two notes, and it creates a whole world of contrast and interest and unison or unity and variety. It's a really great writing technique. So I'm not sure who wrote Mama, I'm Coming Home. Do we have a read on who wrote Mama, I'm Coming Home? Did Ozzy write that song? I'm not sure who wrote it, but anyway, the chord, the harmonic movement of the song against the melodic movement or the vocal part of the song. Especially, we're just going to examine the chorus, the moment in the chorus where it just really catches the old ears, you know. So you can stick around for that. I'm Jason. I'm here with you every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. and I'm here for the entire year of 2025 doing the warm-ups. Oddly enough, I'm here just playing guitar on the internet like it's going out of style. Yeah, I am. And I'm so happy that you're here to join me this morning. Thank you so much for just popping in to see what in the heck is this dude doing. He's talking about Ozzy, but he's warming up. What? While you're here, just double tap that screen. That would be cool. It'd be great. Certainly appreciate it. But at the end of this session, we're going to talk about Mama, I'm Coming Home. Mama, I'm coming home. Oh yeah, get the kettle on, because it's tea time and I'm thirsty for some tea. Imagine if Ozzy was a lounge singer. Man, what a different world this would be. 1 E and a 2, T E and a 4, and we're starting with the old, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, this one, the old diagonal pattern that gives us all that grief and causes us to lose sleep at night. But don't forget, Jason, don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And the guitar is your friend. You know, the guitar is your friend. So it's a good idea to check in with the guitar. If you are a guitar practitioner, you can let the guitar, help the guitar wake up, you know, roll in easy. You know, you don't want to get up and just hammer on it and get right out and start banging nails. You know, we've lived that life. We know that life. We know what it means to get up and change the world that we live in. We know what it means to get up and build the world we live in. Okay, we know what that means. But this is a different story. This is a story about taking a moment and observing the works of God's creation through sitting down with the guitar. And for me, I'm here with my Martin D. I call him Tweety. It's Tweety. All right, Tweety, because there's a little Tweety bird on the back. You can see Tweety's just hanging out with us. And it's actually time to do another stretch, so I'll go ahead and do this right now. But breathing in and breathing out, straight back, solid back, kicking that pelvis just so that it's straight and seating itself properly in the base of your bottom, and then your abdomen, your belly button is sort of firm. You're really using this as an opportunity to strengthen your core and solidify and fortify the core of your person. This isn't about slouching. This is about warming up. It's about waking up. It's about getting in the right frame of mind, the mindset of a guitar practitioner. And this is just me talking to myself and my guitar. I was talking about this with my wife yesterday. We were coming back home from the veterinarians with one of the dogs, with Baxter. Baxter is a beautiful liver and white English Springer Spaniel. So Baxter's brother, as some of you know, Baxter's brother Weiser is the fastest Springer in the United States. He won agility at Westminster, I guess. And fast little dude, fastest Springer in the West. And so he's a good little pup. He's a good little doggy. And so we're on our way back. I'm talking to my wife about why I'm doing what I'm doing on the internet. Like, not that we need to justify anything to her or anything like that. She understands what's going on. She's smart. She's one of the, I'm married to one of the top 10% smartest in the country, I guess. She's a card-carrying member of Alpha Chi. Mind-boggling to me. But so we're talking yesterday. We talk a lot, and I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and do this minor pentatonic while I talk a lot. So 1 E and a 2 E and just a minor pentatonic shape on position 9. And we're just working through this shape, parallel planing it up and down the guitar neck. And we're going to start with 4 attacks per beat, but then we're going to start with 5 attacks and 6 attacks, and maybe we'll have some time to jump it up to 7 and 8 attacks per beat, if we have some incentive to do that. But so we're talking about, I said, wife, I said, I finally I'm coming to understand in a different way. I'm coming to appreciate the thing that we call warm-up. So the thing that we call, if I take nothing else away from this year, from this research and development phase that I'm in, and if I take nothing else away from this year except for I learned what warm-up means, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't think that's exactly what I'm going to end up with in the end, but fingers 2 and 4, let's do position number 2, the minor pentatonic, or the pentatonic system, the pentatonic palace. So we have 2 4 1 4 1 4 2 2 4 1 4 1 4 1 3 2 4 2 4. We'll start patronizing this later, but let's go ahead and do the old 1 E and a 2. You know what to do. So I'm talking, I say wife, she says husband. I say, I'm understanding in a different way. It's the tomato story, right? Eventually you grow and you realize you never realized it, but your taste buds change and now you like tomatoes, right? So anyway, so it's the tomato story. So we've got the, if you go back 3 days, I think there's a tomato story. It's in the title, so if you want to go back and watch that live stream, you can. It's talking tomatoes. But it's, the warm-up for me is turning into a place of, it's a spiritual zone, a zone for awakening, a zone for awakening in a different way. If we get get to the schoolhouse, we go to the schoolhouse, we learn all of the theory and the practice and the all of that stuff. You know, we look at the things on the school board, on the chalkboard, the whiteboard, the Promethean board, and then we, you know, absorb the new things, right? And then we go out into the field, we put the ropes on and the harnesses on, and then we actually learn how to, what happens when we actually climb up the cliff. So we have to take all of these notes that we've taken from class and carefully examine them as we apply them practically in reality, right? So warm up to me is a zone sort of somewhere out, it exists somewhere outside of the world of schoolhouse and practical application. It's outside of those two zones, right? So in order for me to warm up on anything, I would have had to spend some time absorbing the new thing. Example. You know, I would have to absorb that before I could play it, right? So all of my warm-up is all known material, right? All of my warm-up is all known material. This is all stuff that, you know, I could play or sing, play backwards, inside out, upside down, reverse, as if it was Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? So 1, 2, 3. Position number 3 is going to be practicing and, you know, repetition are good for skill building and good for, you know, whatever we can focus or just develop a practice pattern or a practice program to accomplish certain objectives. And as long as we stick with that practice pattern, you know, and a program, expect growth and expect sort of, we could calculate or project growth, expected growth, you know? So, I mean, it really depends upon how you want to approach your instrument. It's all completely up to you. But for me, the drilling that I'm doing this morning is all purpose bent. It's all bent on purpose, right? It's bent, it's here for a reason. One more pattern. The pattern number 4 is 1 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 2 4 1 4. Yeah, and all right, so just working on breathing, and remember that, you know, breathing is an important part of what we're doing. Anyway, I'm talking to my wife yesterday about practicing and the difference between practicing and warming up, and I'm working on a definition and explaining it to her and in terms of the equestrian. So if you are familiar, or you work with horses, or you're a horse whisperer, or you barrel race, or you ride thoroughbreds, or you race, or you show English proper, or you Western trail ride, whatever your passion is on horseback, what is the purpose of the lunging of the horse, right? Why do we lunge horses? You know, I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but she could. So let's take a look at fingers 2 4 2 4 1 4 1 4 2 4 2 4, and we'll carry on all the way down to position number 1 until we reach, and then we bounce back like we hit the bumper on a pool table, and we'll send ourselves back up to the place from whence we came. You know, I sure am glad you're here this morning. You know, I sure am glad you're here with us. Maybe if you don't have a guitar in your hand, maybe when you come back again next time, maybe you'll grab your guitar and bring your guitar with you, and we can work on practicing together. If you would like a free PDF, a 5x5 for guitar growth, you can go grab it right now today for free at 𝗖𝗹𝘁𝗍𝗄𝗏𝗅.com. Yeah, just go grab it. It's a great read. You're gonna love it. It's like 8-9 pages or whatever, 9-10 pages, something like that. But it's a philosophy. It's a way of approaching the guitar that simplifies what we're after. It doesn't matter if we want to be an Olympic medalist on the guitar or a campfire crooner. We're in good shape with that 5x5 for guitar growth. So I would recommend, you know, go grab it. If you want it, it's there, it's free, it's for you. It's literally for you. So it's 𝗖𝗹𝘁𝗍𝗄𝗏𝗅.com. You can find it anytime you're ready for it. All right. I'm not sure if you've done this exercise at all or not, but I know this is valuable too. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm a 4-finger guitar player, I'm going to pluck the string once. I want to try to hear basically get to that point where, you know, I'm not really there, but maybe I'm there, close to there, whatever. I want to be able to hammer on and slur these strings. And this is something that we haven't done yet together, so if you are interested, it's just pluck, hammer, 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 pluck, hammer, 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 pluck, hammer, hammer, hammer. Does it sound like a broken record yet? Because it is, you know, and we pluck on the way down, pluck, and then we peel the banana. It's just like peeling the fingers off the fretboard, or the skin off of the banana. We got this really very nice hammer on. We're additive. We keep all of the fingers on the string as we hammer on until such time as we need to transition to the next string. Now, I push that first finger, that 4th finger on, and then peel each finger on. I switch, switch. I've got to hold that previous string, switch, and then get all of the fingers over and then pull off. There's a process to this madness. So that's a really great. That's a really fun technique to just sort of know. It just kind of adds some legato, really easy legato, as long as we know, you know, basically what keys we're operating in. Anyway, let's get back to this. So we're closely approaching wanting to kind of jump from the warm-up cycle, and I think we're going to break from this too after we get all the way down to position 1 and then come all the way back up. It's really important though to have these align with rhythmic breakdown, right? Rhythmic subdivision. Good. Now I wanted to just, I typically would stretch. I'm going to stretch here real quick, like just get that back straightened out, get that breath going again. Double tap the screen to like that, like the video. Double tapping the screen is always a good healthy thing to practice. It's good social currency. It sort of helps us out, helps you feel good, you know what I mean? Puts a little smile on your face. And we've got this really quick, just a brief stretch cycle coming to pass. We're going to just start talking about Ozzy for the last 8 minutes of this session. I really wanted to just, I put on a black shirt specifically in honor of the passing of the late great Ozzy Osbourne. So I wanted to talk about the chorus part of Mama, I'm Coming Home. And today is a perfect day for that. I've been wanting to talk about this song for years, and finally the day has arrived. And I'm not sure if it's going to be I'm not sure if it's exactly the key that the song is written in, but it's going to be, it's understood as the chord progression that is matching the song. So the melody basically just is let's just call this A for what it is. So we have A down here, A, C sharp, E, C sharp, E, A, and then E, A, C sharp, and then A, C sharp, E. So we have A-ishness everywhere on the guitar, and we're going to locate it right here. We're starting, he sings the third, which is spectacular. It's a spectacular place to start because, as you know, if you're a vocalist and you've ever tried to sing a third, a major third or a minor third, you know that American musicians love to tune the third, you know, Mama, I'm coming home. Ah. If ever there was an interval in music to the major or minor or happy or sad, the third is the thing that really distinguishes a major or happy or sad sonority, right? Very important interval, and the melody in the chorus goes right to that. I don't know if you've ever listened to how he approaches that note, but he gets right to that note every single effort he makes, right? He doesn't go, Mama. Maybe he does, but I like to think that he could sing on tune however he'd like. But because he's singing the three, we also have to note the guitars here aren't really playing the three. They're playing the flat six. And then, which is really crazy because now we're creating this, it's that what is it, like Aeolian or, you know, flat six. That's that power, that rock power anthem that we all know and love so well, you know, the 80s and 90s, and especially like the 70s, you know, there was that flat six, flat seven one. It's a classic and it's so well known. It's a cliche rock chord progression, right? So we have this flat seven, which is F. So everybody play F, and then G, and then A. So, you know, the last time around he does hit the 5 chord, which gives us, you know, enough energy to blast around and cycle it through again. But here's the flat 6, and then you could play it just like this. You could play it as power chords, right? So root, 5, and root. That's all we need. It's a 3-note chord, and we're jumping back down to fret number 1. And then we tap the guitar. Then we go up a whole step, and then we tap it again. Oh, we don't go up that far. We just tap a little less hard. Oh, oh, gotta practice. There we go, tapping the guitar just the right amount. But we have this flat 6, flat 7, and then 1. And then that's part of a scale that you probably should know. So let's do the scale just quickly. 1, 2, 4. I'm going to use scale degrees. We're going to call this C major scale starting on A. So it's C, it's A, Aeolian. If we started on C, it'd be C Ionian or C major scale. Little Red Riding Hood. All right, so it could, the relative minor sounds just like that when we walk down to the relative minor. This is A natural minor, A relative minor, or A Aeolian mode. So 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 3, 4 stretch, and then 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. If you want to go back, you can look at it, come back after this video finishes being live. We'll go ahead and publish it so that it's available for viewing on demand. If there's a part of this section that you really want to come back and look at, you can. It's right here at 𝗖𝗇𝘆𝗀𝗍guitar.com. No, 𝗖𝗇𝘆𝗀𝗍guitar on YouTube, and you can go back and view this on demand. And we're about 55 minutes in or something like that. We're really maybe 50 minutes in, you get that full like Ozzy sort of tutorial, right? So we're talking flat 6, flat 7, and then 1. And then the scale that goes along with that, it isn't harmonic minor, it's Aeolian mode. But the trick is, Mama, I'm coming home. Mama, I'm coming home. This is what I wanted to draw your attention to. Home, that A note, key of A, right? A minor, Aeolian mode. Home, the melody goes from A down to G and then back up to A. So we're singing F, A, G. We're singing G, playing G, and then we go back to A again. So the counterpoint between the melody's going in one direction, and then we join up and the melody happens to move in parallel form with the harmonic movement, which is, everyone knows, the only thing more powerful than octave voice or the octave interval in music is the unison voice, and we're moving in unison. It is very powerful. This is why this chorus works so well. The mechanics behind it, the melody moves against the grain down from F goes up to G as the melody goes down, and then it goes up together, right? And then not only does it move in parallel, but it moves back to an A note, finishing on the A chord. So super huge like fan of Ozzy's work. And thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here with us on the internet, on the interwebs. I'm Jason. I'm here every weekday morning doing my morning ritual for guitar growth with you here at YouTube. You're more than welcome to join me anytime you'd like. And it's free for the entire year of 2025. So next time I see you here, maybe you'll have a guitar in hand. Maybe you're listening on your drive to work, and you're just using your fingers while you're driving, you know what I mean? Just use your thumb as your fretboard. That's a possibility too, you know. You don't have to have a guitar in hand to practice. We can practice these things without the guitar. So join me as I walk through this process every morning for the betterment of myself and, you know, my family and humanity, hopefully in general. But the best of me, all of the good in me, is respecting all of the good in you. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning, hopefully, and good Lord willing, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until we meet again, I wish you happy picking.